So today we are going to talk about 4 very specific things that you can stop doing in order to get your manifestations instantly. And trust me, these 4 things I'm about to outline for you might not be things you've ever really heard anyone talk about before, or at least not in the depth that I'm going to go into it today. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to give you the what to do instead. That's really going to just make these manifestations so instant, so quick, you're gonna get it. You're no longer gonna keep yourself in this cycle of manifestation suffering. So stay tuned till the end to get all of the information, because this is a lot today that I'm packing in. If you are new to my channel, my name is Genevieve. I am a manifestation coach. I mainly talk about the teachings of Neville Goddard and Law of Assumption, but I also go pretty deeply into emotional issues that can affect Law of Assumption. So we talk about somatic things at times, because really the Law of Assumption is about belief. And if your body is holding on to past emotional repression and trauma, or whatever you want to call it, that's keeping you from really maintaining a better belief, a new belief, then, we're going to talk about that in a healthy way, and not in like a super hard way, because I really don't want people to get stuck into healing mode or therapy mode. But it's more that we're just going to address this in a healthy way, and then we're going to move on. So if my style of teaching really resonates for you, I have lots of links in the description below for different ways that you can connect with me and work with me. I've got 2 courses at the moment that you can purchase that are awesome. I love getting the feedback that I get from you guys about those courses. So invest in those, or you can do a one-on-one call with me if you want to actually talk to me about whatever you're specifically really going through right now, and you really just want some one-on-one coaching. That's also an option. So yeah, just check out all the links below. I'm reminding myself to stop forgetting. So I also have a membership portion of this channel, and on that side of the channel, the content that I put out is more in-depth tools. I put out meditations, I go more in-depth into specific tools or trainings that you can use to kind of help you along your manifestation journey. So if you are interested in that, then there's also a link below to join that side of my channel. Please make sure you check the tiers. There's 3 tiers, and it's only the 2nd and 3rd tier that have access to all of that exclusive content. So just make sure when you're picking your membership, you pick the one that really fits what you want. All right, let's get into this. What are the 4 things that from now on I want you to completely release? Stop doing these things and you will have so much more fun manifesting. You'll have much better results. So what is the first thing I want to talk about? That is, stop thinking that you need to perfectly believe in all this in order for manifestation to work for you. I'm bringing this up because in the last week or so, I've noticed kind of an uptick in my clients bringing this up again, where they ask me things like, well, I just don't think I trust the law enough. I just don't believe in the law enough, or I don't believe in my manifestation enough. And they think that that's their block. And in some ways it kind of is their block, because they're making this egoic question of, do I believe or do I not believe? Or do I believe enough or do I not believe enough? They're making that question into a distraction from just accepting your new assumption, because you don't have to perfectly believe this. I mean, this law, the laws, because there's multiple laws of manifestation, but the laws of manifestation have always been working for you in your life, way before you knew any of this intellectual knowledge about how it works and how you can, use these laws more consciously. The way you were manifesting before you discovered the laws of manifestation was you were just manifesting through your natural mental diet. You were just, whatever your natural perceptions were, your natural assumptions were, whatever reactions you had that were based off of typically what you'd already experienced in the past, whatever just natural mental diet you developed from your original programming, that is what created your manifestations. And you weren't consciously do I believe in manifestation? You didn't need to even ask yourself that question to make stuff happen, because you were just in your subconsciously, just in the flow of whatever your programming was. So I'm bringing that up because a lot of you are getting really tripped up on the intellectual concepts of the law of assumption or the law of attraction or whatever law it is that you're focusing on. And you're really you're stopping yourself from just accepting that you are God and accepting that you are fulfilled right now just because you can accept that, You're stopping yourself from that because you're getting really caught up in like, well, do I believe this part of it? Do I believe that everyone is me pushed out? Do I believe that circumstances don't matter? Do I believe it enough? You're like getting caught up in your ego and all these distracting questions that are honestly kind of irrelevant. You don't need to perfectly understand the law. You don't need to egoically have control of things. And honestly, you even asking those questions is, like I said, a distraction. It's an ego distraction trying to keep you in your head, trying to keep you in a control paradigm so that you don't surrender, so that you don't just go, you know what? It feels good to me to just accept that I'm fulfilled and that the things I want are done. So I'm just going to accept it and just live my life. I'm not going to be playing games in my own head about if I believe enough or whatever. So please stop doing that. Also, the if I believe enough in your wish fulfilled is another big thing for people. People think that they're constantly putting pressure on themselves. Like, do I believe it enough? Am I doing enough? Am I believing enough? Am I really believing in that it's really done enough? And so that leads me to my second point. And the second thing I really want you to stop doing is stop forcing yourself to some like superhuman expectation of being super high vibe all the time and in super like confident, overarching belief all the time that you are amazing and that everything's working out for you. You do not need to hold yourself to some sort of crazy standard like that just for this to work. Because remember what I was saying before about the way you manifested before, it was just based on whatever your natural mental diet was, your natural assumptions that were just normal to you based on your old experiences and your old programming. You just naturally accepted certain things and then you just lived your life. And it's the same now. You don't need to like hold yourself to the standard of like, I've got to be perfect all the time. I've got to believe perfectly. I can never have an emotion that is wrong. I can never have a hint of doubt ever. I have to be perfect in believing so strongly that it's definitely mine, and then it will come to me, but only then. Oh my gosh. Really, that kind of behavior on yourself, that kind of thinking towards yourself, that is coming from an I am, a identity within you that believes that you're still not enough. You're manifesting subconsciously from that you that says, I'm not enough. It's really difficult to get what I want, especially this one thing, this one specific person, or this one very important thing. It's difficult to get that, so I need to put in a lot of effort. I really need to contort myself to be very different in order to make this happen, because the way I am right now is not acceptable. It is not enough. It is not going to get me what I want. So that is, you need to be honest with yourself. As those who watch me a lot, I allude to this a bit. You need to be honest with yourself about who are you really being behind the fuel of the manifestation. Like, are you fueling your desire to believe? Are you fueling that desire to believe from a state of, I'm not enough, I'm so worried I'll never get it, I'm so worried it'll never work out for me, I have to be better, I have to be, this exalted, healed, amazing, extravagantly confident person in order to make anything happen for me? Like, that's not a good self-concept that is your primary fuel for the manifestation. So people that are struggling with this and they're in that, it's like, no wonder, because the primary I am behind all of that is an I am of, like I said, some version of I'm not enough. I've got to try hard to make this happen. I've got to put a lot of effort into this. I don't believe enough. I'm bad at this. All of those weird shaming beliefs, that's the subconscious fuel. And if that's who you're really being behind the manifestation, then it's not going to work, because you're not being someone who easily accepts that you are, again, fulfilled, that you are enough in this moment, that you already have it in this moment. That is what an instant manifestation is. And I'll link, there's another video I have about instant manifestations, and so I'll link that here. But you have to get it, that the more you accept that right now in this present moment, everything's good. There's not a single thing missing. There's nothing I've got to do. There's nothing I've got to do to myself to make me better. Like, I am it right now. And this conveniently leads me to my third thing that I really want you to stop doing. And that is that I really want you to stop doing techniques without being clear with yourself about why you're doing them. And let me explain this in a little more detail so you know what I'm talking about. The reason you do a technique is much more important than the technique itself. In your ego mind, it might instantly answer me saying this by being, oh, the reason I'm doing it is to get my specific person, or oh, the reason I'm doing it is to manifest love. The reason I'm doing it is to manifest health or a perfect body or whatever. The ego thinks that that's the why, that that's the reason. But what I'm actually asking in terms of what is the real why behind why you're doing a technique is, who are you being? Again, like tied to what I was saying in the last point, who is the you that thinks you need to be doing something to get something? I really, as a conscious manifestor, I wanted to become so aware of all of the different identities that are within you and which identity is trying to hijack the process. So let me give you a specific example. So if you're, for example, like affirming 1,000,000 times a day, and you're affirming, or 100 times a day, that's a little more reasonable. You're affirming 100 times a day that your SP is so in love with you, and you affirm it 100 times a day, but your why behind it is, why am I doing this? It's because I feel anxious about getting this. Does this make sense? The why is like your feeling reasoning behind it. Like, why do you think you need to do that? Like, is it because you think you don't have it? Is it because you think you're not enough? Or are you doing a technique because it genuinely gets you into the state of like remembering, oh yeah, I already have it. I'm doing this because my why is that I get to experience whatever the heck I want in my life in every single moment. And right now my why is like, I'm enjoying my wish fulfilled. I'm enjoying that right now I have it. I'm not saying these things or these affirmations or whatever. I'm not saying these things to like make it happen in the future. I'm saying whatever technique I'm doing it because I'm reminding myself that right now it's like, whoa, I have it. It's done. And I'm only doing this technique to help it sink in even deeper, pattern even deeper into my subconscious, that I have it. It's real. It's real right now. It's very much a part of my reality right now because I'm experiencing it right now. Do you see the difference between those two things? Like the difference between your why being, I don't have it. I've got to do a lot of things to make my person change or to make reality change. So I've got to do a lot of things to make it happen. Remember, as you probably, again, if you watch me, you've heard me say before, manifestations are not a result of effort. So it's not about doing more and more techniques in this like efforty way to make the 3D happen. That's not at all what's going on here. Manifestations are a result of a genuine state of change of your energy, of your being, of your soul, whatever you want to call it, that you're dominantly emanating through a filter that says, I've already got it. And you're not dominantly emanating through a filter that says, I'm not enough, I'm still separate, I'm still controlled by the 3D reality and the things that it's offering me or not offering me. I'm trying to manipulate 3D through constant effort. If that's the you that's dominantly attempting manifestation, it is going to, not be fun. Not be fun at all. You're going to suffer and you're probably not going to get very good results. So it's not that I don't want you to do any techniques, because I do believe you need to have something that you're focusing on as a practice, because this is a spiritual practice. So I do want you to have something that you're using as a tool to help you stay focused within yourself. But I want you to be very focused and cognizant of, again, the why. Like, why are you doing this practice? You're not doing it to get something. You're not doing it because you're in desperation and doubt and perfectionism and you're trying to effort your way to get a little gift from the 3D. You're not doing that. You are only doing a practice to help you start being, start emanating, start becoming the you that already knows that they have got it and that it's not dependent on the 3D. You're not even desperate for it. That's another thing. This wasn't on my list, but I'm going to add this in as a little extra thing, that desperation and manifestation do not go well together. And unfortunately, a lot of people who come into manifestation, they're coming in from a desperate place, and I get it. That's totally human. But if you're still manifesting from a place of desperation, of being like, I'm incomplete, I need this person, because this typically happens around specific people, unfortunately. So you're like in this place of like, I'm incomplete without them, I'll never be happy without them, I'm so desperate for them, I'm in so much loneliness and suffering without them. If that continues to be the perspective that you're holding about yourself, and you're manifesting in from that place of total fixation on them, on total like limerence about them. Like that's a real thing that can affect people who are manifesting is limerence, where you are just constantly obsessed about someone all day and you can't seem to stop thinking about them. That is not healthy, and I've never seen that manifest well. So desperation and manifestation do not go well together. We don't manifest things we're desperate for. We manifest the things that we can easily accept that we already have. So that's why you don't have your SP yet. If you've been, trying this for years and years and you've just been desperate for them and you've had them on a pedestal all these years, like that's why you need them too much. Like the paradox, which I know is annoying, is that the less you need someone or something, because you're just so like in your own, again, energy, your own fulfillment, your own just knowing of yourself is the spark of God. And you know that there's not a single physical thing or physical other person that you must get, their attention and you must get that thing. The more you are, again, paradoxically kind of like, yeah, I have love and desire for that person, but I don't need them. When you're in that state, that is when SP manifestations work really, really well. So anyway, so that's just a side thing of stop injecting any desperation into this, because if you're manifesting from a place of, I need them and I'm going to get them and I'm going to manifest them, if you're in that place, it's like, it's just not going to work. In my experience, comment below if you were in total desperation and codependency or attachment and you successfully started an amazing, long-lasting relationship with your SP, as I would be curious to know. So let me know if you have. But in my experience in seeing hundreds of clients, I haven't seen it yet. So the fourth thing that I really want you to stop doing, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, is stop consuming more and more content and doing more and more techniques. Like stop trying to like desperately do everything you hear everyone else say, or everything that you think everyone else is doing, or like seeing a success story and then like anxiously asking them like, what did you do? What exactly did you do? I want to do what you did. And you're like very like externally focused for answers, because again, that's coming from an I am that is in a little bit of desperation or just over attachment. So really watch yourself. If you're kind of in a manifestation loop, like a loop of suffering where you're just consuming more and more, you're just, talking to more and more coaches, you're trying out more and more techniques, and you're just kind of stuck in this like obsessive loop, that is keeping you almost in like manifestation purgatory. Like you are not accepting that you really are who you want to be. You're not even really being who you want to be, because this is another thing where remember that we're manifesting as a result of a genuine shift in our state of being. We're in a state of being that's no longer in lack and desperation, all that. We're now in a state of being that is like, okay, I'm confident. I genuinely do love myself. I genuinely do believe that I can get the things I want, even if I'm not perfect. And even me just saying, oh, I'm confident, it's not a performative confidence. It's more of a self-on-self confidence, where it's like, no matter what comes my way in this tricky 3D world, I've always got me, and I know that I always handle everything in a beautiful and loving way. I never make anything out there mean something about me or my relationship to myself and my faith in my own higher power and God self. Like that's what I mean by being confident. It doesn't mean being performatively confident, which I think a lot of people are doing. When they hear about self-concept, they think like, oh, I'm the sexiest, I'm the most amazing, everyone wants me. And that's very performative self-concept. And it's honestly that kind of self-concept. And it's not that you couldn't have those things, but if that's your primary like thing that you're focusing on, it's typically coming from a deficiency story inside of you, a deficiency I am that says I'm not enough. I've got to be really impressive. I've got to be the best. I've got to be like performatively great so that everyone notices me and I finally get that attention that I feel like I've been missing out on for so long. So again, be really honest with yourself about where are these things coming from in your desire mind and in your ego mind, and like, are they coming from, are these things that you're affirming for, or these things that you're desiring for, are they coming from a deficiency inside? Is there a thing inside of you that you're not meeting for yourself, that you're not believing in yourself? Because if that's what's happening, then again, you're not going to manifest really sustainable, healthy results, because you are still manifesting from a very subconscious, a very beneath the surface I am that says, yeah, I'm not enough. I have to do a lot. I have to be very fancy. I have to be the hottest. I have to be the coolest. And yeah, that's just, it's hard to be in that state. So really, what are all of these points summing up to? And really, it's that I want you to stop doing so much, and I want you to focus on being, because remember, it's our state of being. Who are you genuinely, really being in the world in this moment? Who are you being with yourself in this moment? How are you regarding yourself? How are you naturally assuming about yourself in this moment? So when it comes to like what to do instead, I really want you to genuinely take your focus off of the 3D. And I know you hear this all the time, to ignore the 3D, don't focus on the 3D. And that's very true, but I think sometimes we say that so much we lose sight of what that really means. We're saying to stop looking at the 3D and stop giving all this habitual reactive meaning to the 3D, because you're meant right now to be really focusing on your own inner experience of yourself in terms of who are you showing up for you as? Are you showing up for yourself as someone who does really believe that it's easy for you to be in relationship? Are you showing up for like in an emotionally available way to yourself? Are you shaming yourself about certain emotions? Are you not allowing yourself to process a lot of the things you went through in the past? Because that's the big thing I discovered in my own journey when it comes to like the somatic stuff I was talking about in the beginning of this video, is in my manifestation journey, I wasn't allowing myself to process things I needed to process. And that's why I couldn't sustain being in the new state, because there was all this really old repressed emotion that I was very ashamed about, very afraid of, to be honest, that I wasn't allowing to simply be processed in its raw form, so that I could just let it go, just release it, to let it go, accept it, and then be like, okay, if I can handle feeling all of that old yucky stuff that I've been trying to run from, that I've been trying to manifest to escape from, because that's another thing, if you watch me, you hear me talk about, that a lot of people are trying to manifest as an attempt to repress even more, to run even more from who they're genuinely being. And they think subconsciously, like, if I just get that person, if I just get that money or that perfect body, if I just get it, then it will take away all of this pressure and the suffering that I feel inside of me. But remember, that's not how it works. You have to start getting into a genuinely different relationship with yourself, a way that you are processing your own emotions, showing up for yourself. It needs to be much more conscious and focused on you. And that is how things in your reality genuinely shift. Because when you genuinely shift, you really do get instant manifestations. And I think I talked about this in another video, but it's like, in my experience, when I have that like click, like shift within me, where all of a sudden I'm seeing everything in my reality just differently. Like, I'm perceiving the circumstances differently. I'm perceiving the people differently. Like, everything, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I just relate to my life really differently all of a sudden. In that moment, the manifestation is instant. Like, the minute I super deeply feel it shift, everything in reality truly does shift at that exact same time. And so that's what I mean in terms of, this is where I really want you to get to, is stop spinning around in your ego conscious mind about like, well, do I believe enough? And am I doing enough? And am I, do I have the right teacher and the right information? Like, you're just kind of keeping yourself in like a manifestation purgatory with all of this information you're overthinking in your head and trying to do so much about it. And instead get into your actual body experience. Like, this is your reality. Your reality is what you are experiencing right now. And everything you're seeing out in the 3D is just how you are interpreting reality. This is what it means in the statement that no one has free will in your reality, because you are interpreting everyone and everything through your filter at all times, and no one can stop you from interpreting reality through the ways that you interpret it, the meanings that you are giving it, the power that you are giving it. So no one has free will in your reality, because you're the one making up all the meanings, all the assumptions, all of the experience is coming from you, and it's all within here. So really focus on your being. Do not focus so much on doing, and get some sort of practice that you can stick to. And the thing I typically would suggest, I guess, is to have something in the morning maybe and something in the evening that is like grounding, like a meditation or affirmations, whatever you would like, that really gets you like into that focus of like, oh yeah, this is who I am. This is what I am, and I'm being this, and in this moment that I'm doing this technique, it's not to get something, it's to get myself even deeper in like, oh yeah, this is me, this is where I'm at right now. So that is what I have for you today. I hope this helped you in terms of like things that you can really stop doing, stop focusing on, stop going into so much suffering over your manifestation work, because I see that so much. There's so many people out there who are trying to manifest and they're really suffering in the process, and it's making their lives worse. It's making your life worse when you're in that much suffering. So I hope that this just gives you full permission to just completely drop all the things I've talked about today. And yeah, let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments below. And if you have any other requests for future videos, those are good for me to see, because the ones that I feel like are really relevant to a lot of people, I will try to make some future videos about. So let me know your thoughts and questions, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.